The most difficult part of my job is young people killing each other, and then talking with their families afterwards, and trying to find ways. Trying to find ways to help them. When I first started, there was no system in place to help the families, the victims of violence, or the families of the victims of violence. And people told me before I became mayor, when I was campaigning stuff, victims are forgotten around here. Nobody, you put energy towards finding whoever did it, but nobody comes back and says a peep to the family whose life is shattered. It's laying in a pool of blood on the sidewalk. So the first thing I did was start showing up right there, right next to the families, and saying, what can we do? What can we do for you? And then I worked with our existing Group Violence Intervention Initiative, GVI, which started out. GVI is supposed to be a combination of the community resources, and law enforcement. And what GVI started out with in York was law enforcement. We were going to do a better job of tracking down who exactly the shooters were, and we were going to focus on them. That's great. But it's not changing the system. GVI is supposed to change the system. GVI is supposed to find out who is at risk ahead of time, or who may have made their first mistake, and go and reach out to them and say, look, I can help you finish high school. I can help you get furniture for your house. I can help you. At one point, we paid to have a surgery for a dog, because we asked, what would make your life so that you wouldn't feel so bad that you would be participating in violence? And the answer was our dog. Mm-hmm. There are small things to some of us that are really big things to people that don't have a lot, or that are under so much pressure. Helping with these funeral expenses, and a car gets shot up and the insurance company isn't going to cover it right away. The windshield shot out, getting that done. Getting a call one time from a kid who wouldn't call me, but he called his coach, and his coach called me and said, look, this young man knows how to hit somebody before they hit him, and they're coming for him. He's already left his mom's house because he doesn't want his mom to be involved, to be collateral damage. But he has a choice right now. Either get out of town immediately or hit them before they hit him. And we were able to get the group together and get the bus tickets, get Giant and Walmart cards, and be just like, here, get out. It's cool because the worst part of my job is also the best part of my job, because this is someplace where we have seen probably the most change in the last 4 years, is going from, and people out there don't know it very much because GVI started off with a bit of a bad rap because it was all about law enforcement. But what we're really about is getting these kids off of the path and finding another, getting them another direction. We don't want to put anybody in jail. I wish I could get by. York Township has probably like 20 cops for the same population that we have, and I've got to pay 100. I'd love to have 20 cops. I'd love if the people in our community were sustained enough that they didn't fall into these traps or get pushed in these directions, or see trading, risking their lives for some good money. Sometimes good money, short length of time. So just to wrap up that last part, Commissioner Muldrow is an absolute miracle for this community, Michael Muldrow. Mm-hmm. And if I never do another thing as mayor, that's the best thing I've done. There's two things that I'm very, very proud of. One is the sale of the wastewater treatment plant, which is never fun because basically I sold the family silver. It was the last thing of real value we had. But the alternative was to raise the taxes 48% to tax people out of their houses, because we still had this cost of government, and it was still going up. Like I said, we were $14 million in debt. That was for 1 year. So by selling this asset, we'll be able to put money away for the pension costs and healthcare costs and all the things that have been skyrocketing. So that's kind of the financial big win for my first 4 years. Well, started in the first 4 years, should be completed by May or June. But Commissioner Muldrow, bringing his passion and compassion to the police chief / commissioner's role. Nobody has sat in that office with the mind and soul of Michael Muldrow. He shows people that he cares, and he gets other people to care, and he gets the police department to function in a way that it hasn't always done in the past. A lot more of seeing everybody as people, trying to do a preventative medicine kind of with our juvenile violence intervention team, with the youth outreach, with Officer Palmer. Right now, if you have a kid that is getting out of your control and you want to call us for help, we have a branch of the police that is not really it's not an arresting branch. It's a branch to come out and try and help you with your kids. We never had that before. You ask about the psychological stuff, but that's exactly why I did what I did. But I'm no trained anything, right. So we've been working and wanting for years to bring mental health specialists on. We haven't had the money. And now with the allocations from the federal government and with the assistance of WellSpan and other donors, we believe that, and hopefully with the cooperation of City Council, we're going to be able to bring co-responders in, so mental health professionals that will work with the police officers. We did have a young African American man killed by our police officers back in 2015 or 2016, and he had mental health challenges. I'm not saying I knew him, but I'm saying from hearing and talking with the community that he was having some problems, and so when he acted out in the direction of the police officers and the police officers responded, we didn't get the response that you see in some communities about, and he had a small kitchen knife on him, and it said the report says he threw it in the direction of the police officer, and they tried to tase him, but he had a heavy jacket on, and he ended up dead. And York did not respond the way some other communities have. And I think that was because this was, it was sad, but most people involved saw that York City Police did make the effort. They tried to tase him. They tried to do everything, and he was still coming at him. And, a Monday morning quarterback could have been like, you could have shot him in the leg or something like that. And you always hear that. But you don't, when you're saying that, you don't have somebody running right at you, Right. So, but the fact is, or what I believe is, that if we had those mental health co-responders, that wouldn't have happened that day. We would have been able to have people with 4, 6, 8 years of training just in how to talk to people that are going through a mental health episode. We're trying to get the money right now from City Council. Tonight they're introducing a bill that includes some money for that. WellSpan has been working to make that happen at the emergency room, because the second place that the trauma really congeals is at the emergency room. So York Hospital, they've been working with us on trying to get both additional police for safety as well as additional mental health responders.